Hello everybody, Infernape Shinjo here. Welcome to the next Q&A, which, like I kind of mentioned about in the last Q&A, this is going to be recorded way well in advance. Although what I might do is have the last Q&A be for April, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I might just have the one Q&A at the start of the month, one at the end of the month. I don't know. It doesn't really matter how I have it situated because there's still more questions anyway. But just to give context before I start, this is being recorded on April 21st, so any questions that are posted after that will be in the next episode. And I like to over-record when I don't absolutely have to. So first question, and actually this wasn't my plan that I split up the questions, but it works out perfectly. Shadow Knight 66 says, with the Alola League coming soon, what Pokemon do you want Ash to bring back? For me, I think Ash should bring back Greninja and Donphan. And it worked perfectly because I initially was going to make a video about the Alola League being announced. Because, how was that? To give a bit of background, I'm not sure exactly why, but I've been kind of slacking on watching the episodes of Pokemon of Alola subbed. So then one day after coming home from work, I just watched like a whole bunch of episodes back to back. I think I started with the Magical Girl episode with the Magikarp that evolved into Gyarados. Then I watched that, whatever the next one was, I believe it was a filler episode. Then, what was it? Then the Guzma debut, and then the Lily getting the Z-Ring thing. And so, with the Alola League officially announced, I can imagine a whole lot of people are making videos about it. So instead of making my own thoughts on it in a separate video, I'll just discuss it now, just to save time. So at the time that I'm recording this, the Alola League has been announced. Kukui basically says, you don't even have to do the island trials to be in the league. So Ash is obviously in it because Ash wants to be in it and has to be in it because he's the protagonist. Kiawe is going to be in it. I think Sophocles says he's going to be in it, or at least he more or less decides whether he's going to do it or not. Lana's definitely going to be in it. She's probably the most fired up out of anybody except for Ash. And of course, the normal people that are going to be in it, Hau, Gladion, obviously they're going to be in it, even though they didn't officially announce that they were going to be in the league. And considering Sun and Moon has been doing a good job of keeping continuity, I wouldn't doubt that we see other characters that were in random episodes before come back. Like Lana's trainer that has the Primarina. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt. And even Team Rocket's going to be in the league, which is weird because normally they're just selling food outside of the league. But really, on the concept of Ash and his Pokemon, it's weird because at the moment he's got Pikachu, Lycanroc, Torracat, Rowlet, and Meltan, technically. I'm not sure if it's technically his Pokemon or if he's going to release it or whatever. But honestly, I could see some sort of Kalos thing happening with that. Like how mid-end of Kalos, Ash caught Gumi, evolved it into Goodra, let it go, got Noibat, evolved it into Noivern, and then when the league started, he brought back Goodra. So I wouldn't doubt that his final team for the league, if he doesn't bring back other Pokemon, would be Pikachu, Lycanroc, Rowlet, Torracat, Meltan, and and Poipole. Because technically, Ash did use Poipole before. Again, I'm not sure if it's a thing about whether it's actually his or not. And you could even say, well, that doesn't seem fair that Ash uses legendaries in the league. And I think he kind of has it coming to him to be allowed to use a legendary. I mean, he lost to two legendaries in the Sinnoh League. Bringing up bad memories, I know. But just for the sake of this, if he's going to bring back other Pokemon, which normally isn't announced until like right when the league starts, and it seems like there are a lot of other episodes to cover. Like, there's an episode coming that Sophocles might get the Buganium Z, and an episode that just is called Lana Fishes Up Kyogre. So I don't know how I feel about that. But if more news comes out about the Alola League and more people participating and more additions to the team come into play, then I might make a separate video on it. But for the meantime, I'm not planning on it. So just based off of the idea that Ash is going to bring back Pokemon, what would my choices for Ash to bring back? The only other time that he did this was Sinnoh, and even then, not all of his Mons were used as much. Like, you even saw a scene where Ash reunited with his Bayleaf, but didn't use it in the league at all, unless I'm mistaken. And I think Donphan's a really good contender to come back, because Donphan's been one of those that hasn't been getting much attention at all. He got it in Johto as a Phanpy, brought it back for Battle Frontier, evolved in Battle Frontier, then got left by the wayside again, came back in Sinnoh. Basically, Donphan's been one of those that fans probably don't think of when they think of Mons that Ash owns. And if Donphan becomes like a huge powerhouse to his team, I'm not sure what Donphan could potentially learn. Maybe like Earthquake or something. Although I'm not sure if they would have Donphan get Earthquake because of the whole thing that happened with the Barboach Whiscash episode in Hoenn, and that's probably the reason that they haven't used Earthquake's animation in the dub, or Pokemon in general. You know, I'm noticing that I'm just tripping over my words and saying words that I'm not meaning to, but I'm not cutting a lot of it out. I'm cutting parts of it out, but I feel like the fact that I said Ash had Poplio probably is just funny enough to keep in. But back to Ash's Pokemon. I can imagine that there is a whole fan base on the internet that are saying Ash is going to bring back Greninja. But first of all, I don't even know, I'm not sure if anybody really knows Ash's Greninja's fate. Because at the last end of X, Y, and Z, he released Ash Greninja. Released, I'm not sure if is even the proper term, to take care of the Zygarde roots or whatever that's still around the region. And yes, you could probably say after 4 years, those roots were probably taken care of. But did Ash technically release Greninja? Or is it just, I'm leaving Greninja here, I'm coming back for it? Although, even with that, remember what happened to Primeape and Pidgeot and Butterfree? Yeah, I think so. I don't know, and even if Ash does bring his Greninja to the league, first of all, it wouldn't be the same Ash, in a sense to put it. Because, needless to say, this Alola Ash is not the same Ash that was used in the whole Kalos region. So, would Ash even be able to use Battle Bond? Although even so, it is still a Greninja, and Greninja did have powerful moves. And cut. I can see the appeal in bringing back Ash's Greninja for the league, because it is one of Ash's key players in his Kalos team. And Kalos is one of the more widely accepted regions of Pokemon because of art direction, Ash Greninja, Ash actually being competent. I can understand stuff like that. But to me, it just seems like sometimes, not all the time, there's just a whole lot of hype over Kalos. And I'm just sitting here thinking, why? Even though I know the reason. It's just that sometimes I'm just sitting here wondering why so much hype over Kalos when, in my personal opinion, Sinnoh's story was much better, at least with Ash and his rival. Ash's rivals in Kalos were just one always behind him and one always ahead of him. I don't know. I'd really like to know what your guys' full opinions on Kalos is. I feel like the majority of it is going to be love Kalos. And I did too. It's just, you gotta know when to pick your hype moments, right? But outside of Greninja and Donphan, I think other Mons that would be a good choice for Ash to bring back are any of his Mons that haven't evolved. So for example, Bayleaf, Quilava, Gible, even bring back Buizel. Any of his Mons that have a potential to evolve in the league should come back. Or if he's not going to bring back any Mons that can evolve, at least bring back some Mons that can learn some new moves. Megate no Gogeta has 2 questions. First question, if Goku was in the Pokemon world, what would his Pokemon be? So, the obligatory Infernape, obviously, because literally Infernape is based off of Sun Wukong and Goku's based off of the same thing, so obviously Infernape has to be there. But outside of that, I'm thinking just a whole mess of fighting types. I could see like Primeape because of Ape, Sock just because of my own little personal fun thing about how Goku is voiced by Sean Schemmel and so is Sock in the dub of Pokemon. Maybe even Darmanitan, even if it's not a fighting type. But his team would probably just be basically fighting types, a couple of apes thrown in there because of the great ape form. Probably Lucario as well because Lucario is a popular fighting type, Goku's a popular character. And question 2, if you could fuse 2 of your favorite Pokemon, what would they be and what would their fusion name be? Oh boy, so let me see. First, obviously, Infernape. And at the same time, I'm torn between a whole bunch of different mons. Like, I know I always mention Ambipom, Apom are my favorites. I do like Yanma, Yanmega. And what would their fusion name be? I'm gonna stick with Ambipom just to make it easier. Infernapom. Ambieape. Ambieape? I don't know, I kind of like Ambieape. Although, to be fair, I do like Monferno a little bit more than Infernape. Let's try Monferno. Monfernopom. Ambino. Ambino. Now, I like Monferno. Monfernopom. I like Monfernopom. And I think that there is a fusion thing online where you can look up Pokemon fusions. I'm not sure if they have it updated to Generation 4. And if it might, and if it will get a lot of traction, I'd be fine just making a random video about that just for craps and giggles. Next 2 questions come from Divine Zamasa. And their first question is, do you watch any Dragon Ball YouTubers on YouTube? If so, who are your favorite Dragon Ball tubers? For me, I like Unreal ENT Gaming and Masako X, because for Unreal, I enjoy his Dragon Ball fan manga showcase videos, Masako for his covers, and Dragon Ball What Ifs. And I gotta be honest, whether it's Dragon Ball YouTubers or Pokemon YouTubers, whatever, I don't really even watch that much on YouTube, whether it's because of how I'm working 5 days a week, or taking care of my own videos, but I don't really watch that much. Honestly, I probably watch more YouTube with my reactions than normal off camera. But I did react to a video from Unreal ENT Gaming. I think that's how it's meant to be pronounced. If it isn't, well, that makes the other video kind of pointless. But I did react to one of their videos. I'm not sure if it'll be out by the time this video comes out. It probably will be, honestly. But Masako, yeah, I do watch his covers. I know I did a couple of fan-made openings with his covers. And Dragon Ball What Ifs, I did watch a couple of them. But like I said, I don't really watch much as far as YouTube off recording. Honestly, the most that I do watch, and if it's already finished by this point, that's going to make it even funnier. But the most that I watch on YouTube, just as far as a series go, is Shady Penguins and Mr. Talon's, what is it, Black and White rival lock that they're doing right now. They're very funny, and their personalities just fit so well together. Whatever one does, the other one can bounce off of perfectly. But honestly, I don't really watch much outside just random one-off videos. And of course, talking about anime for every season because I want to be caught in the loop. And question 2, if you could have any kind of Super Saiyan form from Dragon Ball Z, GT, and Super to transform into, what would it be and why? And if I'm not mistaken, I did already answer this in the last question, Air. And I believe my answer was blue because my favorite color is blue. Unless there's another Super Saiyan form that I'm not aware of that's a lot cooler than blue. Although, I'm not sure how you can beat the color blue. And finally, Evo Faust has 2 questions. Question 1. Have you ever heard of the Japanese band called Kamen Rider Girls? Their songs are awesome. They are metal/rock. Their songs are amazing. I recommend you listen to them. Start with the song Time of Victory. And first part of the question, I have heard of them. Honestly, I'm not sure why I've heard of them. I guess people have been suggesting me to talk about Kamen Rider in past videos, and that's probably where I've heard of them. But metal rock sounds right up my alley. Okay, so start with a Time for Victory. Time of Victory. Okay. Hey, future Shinjo. If you listen to a song, Time of Victory, let me know what you think about it, okay? Okay, sounds good. And second question, favorite Pokemon Japanese and English opening and why? And I'm going to answer this two-part, one for Japanese and one for English. And I know that I'm going to miss a song that I really like for both versions, so I'm already accepted that. I'm going to start with Japanese because I didn't start listening to Pokemon from the Japanese. I started with a dub up till probably mid-Sinnoh, something like that. And let me see, Black and White, okay. Honestly, I'm just gonna throw out the obligatory Pokemon X, Y, and Z final opening just because I know that people are gonna like that opening. People do like that opening. I do like it, but just like with any song that I listen to, I do want to take a break from it after once in a while. I think favorite Japanese is probably going to be Together, the first Diamond and Pearl opening, just because that was right when I started knowing that the Japanese version of Pokemon existed. And I remember walking to school every day, always humming that song in my head, even though I didn't know any of the words. And as for the English openings, I think with that, we can basically narrow it down to the start of Pokemon up till the end of Hoenn, because those are the English openings that people like the most. Although I do like the new opening for Sun and Moon. What's it called? Rise to the Challenge? That's kind of catchy. I can understand that people wouldn't like it, but I like it. It's very catchy. I think I don't know if I'm going to decide to post it, but I did make a short fan-made opening of it. But since I'm sticking to covers, I don't know if I'm actually going to post it. But English opening, just like Japanese, throwing out the obligatory gotta catch 'em all very first opening, because if I don't mention it, somebody else is going to. Somebody else probably already mentioned it anyway before I answered. But there are a lot of good ones. I do like the Sinnoh League Victors one, We Will Carry On. But Johto as well. I think I actually had the opening for Johto's dub as my number one in a past video. I don't remember. But I think Believe in Me. Because what they essentially did with that is made it the English equivalent of the Japanese opening, which was just a redone mastering cover of the very first opening of Pokemon. And the way the dub handled Believe in Me, it started off with the very same lyrics that the first dub opening started with, but then it just changed it. I really like that song. Honestly, a lot of the Johto openings I really like. I just listened to Born to Be a Winner today and I just got a nostalgia blast. It's just so cool. But that is going to be the end of today's Q&A. I know I said I wanted to split it up so it'll be more videos, but I didn't realize that I was going to talk so long on the Sinnoh, Alola League, and this video is probably longer than the last one. And I'm not going to say I apologize, but if I didn't exactly give all my thoughts, then what else am I going to give? But thank you everybody that sent questions. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. I will be working on the next Q&A for the next month, however I decide to split this up. But I will see you in the next episode. Momentai.